What's good, people? It's your boy, the Trap Artist 702. In tonight's segment, we bringing it home to the West Coast, to my city, Las Vegas, Nevada, greatest city on earth, Sin City. Man, sometimes you can get caught up in the lights, the glamour, all the glitz, but you can't forget who started it all, the origin of it, and that gotta be the Las Vegas King, Oscar Goodman, the mayor. Man, Oscar Goodman was born July 26, 1939 from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Young Harvard graduate, came to Las Vegas with his wife with big dreams to take over. Upon arrival, word quickly got out about him being a ferocious defense attorney. He represented many big figures in the underworld, such as Tony the Ant Spilatro, Meyer Lansky, the boss young Nicky Scarfo, Phil Leonetti, and Frank Lefty Rosenthal.
Meeting in the middle of the desert always made me nervous. It's a scary place. I knew about the holes in the desert, of course, and everywhere I looked, there could have been a hole.
It's clear from everything that we heard today that nothing has changed.
Who planted the bomb that ripped his Cadillac to shreds?
It's now a contest between the state of Nevada and the federal government to see who can abuse the rights of individuals most.
The top of the Las Vegas rackets was tough Tony Spilatro, Tony the Ant, suspected in as many as 24 murders but never convicted. Las Vegas attorney Oscar Goodman, who declines to admit the existence of La Cosa Nostra, has represented legions of alleged mafia figures.
I finished taking the bar exam back in Philadelphia. Carolyn, my wife, and myself got into a car and started heading across the country, and we stopped at the top of Boulder City, which is about 30 miles outside of Las Vegas, and had just gone across the area of the dam. As we saw a couple of blinking lights in the desert there, she said, "Where have you brought me?"
To Las Vegas, Nevada. Heaven on earth for a criminal defense attorney. A city built on gambling and prey to every mobster in the country. Each one a potential client for the young, ambitious Oscar Goodman.
This morning, I had a couple people just come up, and they brought me cash. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Or this, or this.
Every great city in the world has a river running through it. And in Las Vegas, the river is cash. The river is dollars, greenbacks, and it's billions of dollars.
Las Vegas, over the years, because of the organized crime influence, probably contributed more dollars to organized crime and their nefarious activities than any other source of the real gotten gain.
I've never been to a mafia meeting. I know what the government says. Over the years, my clients have never even suggested to me that there is an organization such as the mafia.
Oscar's clients had a code of honor. They only killed each other, and they left everybody else alone.
A lot of people represent gangsters and never win. And Oscar, he's known throughout organized crime as a guy who kept Tony Spilatro out of prison, which is no mean feat. There's a guy who accused of, putting a person's head in a vise till his eyes pop out. I mean, that's not exactly, the Little Sisters of the Poor or something.
There are two different types of attorneys when it comes to the mob. There are attorneys who represent mobsters, and there are mob attorneys. And Mr. Goodman was proud to be called a mob attorney.
I was a young guy trying to make a living, and nobody in Las Vegas had a lawyer at that time. And as time went on, we were able to accumulate a little bit of money, and the one thing we would do is I would take my wife out to dinner, and she would love to gamble $20. So I would stand behind her, and while she's playing her $20, I would be talking to the various guys who were in the pit there, the dealer, the pit bosses, and all that. And, well, shows you how lucky I am, because that created my first break. There was a phone call that came into the hacienda, and apparently it was a fellow who was very, very important in pornography and bookmaking circles from Canada. Guy asked the pit boss who the best criminal lawyer is in Las Vegas. And the fellow said, I don't know whether he's a criminal lawyer, but Oscar Goodman's a really good guy. And the pit boss gets back on the phone. He says, the best criminal lawyer in Las Vegas is Oscar Goodman. Well, that's how it all started. I got a phone call to come over to a very exclusive home in Las Vegas. But I went over there, I was scared to death. I had never tried a case before. Went up to this magnificent home, knocked on the door. A fella came to the door and he said, here, there's a case. We want you to go down to the jail and represent this young man, and this is your fee. He handed me an envelope, and you better win it. And I took the money and I went out to the car and I drove around the corner. I opened up the envelope and I counted out $3,000. I had never seen $3,000 in my life before in one lump sum. It was like a fortune. The evening before the trial was supposed to start, I met the brother from Canada for the first time, and he was, you could tell he was an important person. I don't like to use the phrase mobster or gangster, but he sure looked like he belonged to that element. He said, I expect you to win this case. Well, I showed no visible fear, but went home that night and couldn't sleep. Tossed and turned. The bed was soaking wet. My wife wanted to know what was wrong. Got down to the courthouse about 6 o'clock in the morning. Well, I got so sick I threw up right on the sidewalk in front of the federal courthouse. I don't know what I did. I could try the case a billion times and not win it again. But from that point forward, I had a real booster, and this gentleman from Canada with all the earmarks of being the real McCoy, and he referred cases to me thereafter, and that was really the start of my career.
But the real miracle in Goodman's career is how over the years he's represented some of the darkest figures in organized crime and survived to tell the tale.
I think he's sort of a jewel to certain people, and they want to protect him and keep him there because he's a winner.
If you ever have a problem, this is where you got to come, because you'll get fair and honest representation.
When you get an attorney and you want to win your case, that's the man you go to. It may cost you a lot, but it is what you think your life is worth.
My clients love me because they know that I'm the only person in the world, other than maybe a wife or a child, who's going to be their defender, their protector, to make sure that no government is going to take advantage of them. Nobody is going to put them in prison without all of their rights being protected before, God forbid, they go.
He's a heavyweight boxer in the courtroom. He's a man who not only represents a client, but he represents something greater, and that's the Constitution.
You don't threaten winners here. You go along with them. That's the whole philosophy of this town. A winner is rare and big.
Goodman's survival depends on his relationship with his clients. He has his own strict code of honor. He's totally loyal to all his clients, whatever they might have done. Just as long as they don't cooperate with the government or give evidence against their partners. Dean Shandall, former boxer, fighter pilot, and rodeo rider, is one of the pioneers who built Las Vegas. He was part owner at Caesar's Palace when Frank Sinatra was a regular fixture there. And he has a reputation in town as a capable man.
Oscar's a stand-up guy. Oscar wouldn't give you up. You could fry him in the electric chair and he wouldn't give you up. Oscar's a man's man. I wish I could be the kind of a man Oscar is, and I don't fear anybody. I'll stand up. I don't Mike Tyson, anybody else, and I'm not half the man Oscar is. I wish I could be him. He's got brains, and he's got guts, and he's got heart.
I don't know where it came from, where in my life I developed this need or attraction for strong men to be part of my life. It seems like everybody who is a supporter of mine is a man of strength, and not only of physical nature, but of courageous in a sense. It seems like I am either attracted to them, they're attracted to me, but there's definitely some kind of a bond between that kind of person and myself.
Oscar, what would we give to turn the clock back?
You want to know something? I wouldn't trade a day.
Yeah, you like it the way it is?
If I could turn it back and have the same kind of life, okay? And have the same friends.
That's what I'm talking about.
I give
and have the kids
everything I have,
again.
everything I have.
Riding the ponies
if I could be sure it turned out the same way.
And be sure people aren't shooting one another on the street, jumping out of cars. Look at him. Now look at me. I know what I look like, a bum.
Oh,
he looks like a college professor.
Stop it.
He walks in and everybody shuts up in the courtroom. I've been in a few courtrooms with him. A hush goes over the place. He's got Oscar Goodman. He's got Oscar Goodman. Already now they assigned 3 more federal guys in there. There's 3 more extra lawyers on account of Oscar Goodman. It's like fighting 6 guys. It's like one guy fighting 6 guys. You think it's fair? Nothing's fair in this world. Nothing's fair in the... Well,
we never lost to him, though, did we?
Never lost once to him.
Never.
Had me in a grand jury. I came out 45 times. The guy said, I'm tired of you. Get the hell out of here. He said, he must have Oscar Goodman in the hall. I said, you're damn right. I got Oscar Goodman in the hall.
I love you, man.
I love you, Oscar.
I love him. He's my man. Love him. Let's see. Do you have anybody on that side over there?
I have nobody anywhere. Nobody wants to live next to me. First of all, they say I'm a bad guy.
Yeah, you're...
When I look at him, I think of him as the kid on the block who had the shiny bike that nobody wanted to play with. And he was, kind of looking for some sort of acclaim. And Las Vegas was a perfect place for a Philadelphian to come to achieve what he's achieved. They produced nothing there in the way of a product. They produced dollars. And everybody, pretty much everybody, was out to get a piece of that action. And regardless of any other considerations, moral or otherwise.
Okay. We have a couple starlets here.
Hi, Lewis.
He has all the tricks of the trade. He's a great strategist. And he has his own code.
Had names that ended in vowels. The government characterized them as high-ranking organized crime members. Go to some of these barbershops up on the strip. It's like you have to have a membership card.
My name is Joey Cusumano. I've been a resident in this town for 30 years. Oscar has been my attorney for about 25 of those 30 years for various reasons.
Right.
The one thing that always impressed me about Oscar is if he took your case, he was going to work on your case. You wouldn't have a man slacking up on you. Whatever he does for you is 100%.
Like this every day?
There was a 60-minute program, and Oscar Goodman happened to be on it. Now, we're all sitting in a recreation room watching Oscar tear the federal prosecutors apart, saying they're a bunch of wimps, and all they're looking to be is federal judges, which they will never be. And he used to beat him all the time. So after the segment was over, I stood up and says, and that's my lawyer. Well, needless to say, the next day I got 4 or 5 inmates coming up to me and wanting to have Oscar represent them.
I had an attorney. When I got convicted, they gave me about 25%. So I know the feeling about being sold out. And with Oscar, you'll never have that. The man will give you 100% of what he has.
I get calls from all over the country from people who I don't even know sometimes in regards to Oscar Goodman. They want appointments. Like, for instance, in Michigan, there was a big organized crime indictment.
It's a big indictment, that's all. Forget about organized crime.
There was a big indictment, and people reached out to me to bring certain documents to Oscar to represent. But it so happens, Oscar doesn't come cheap.
I was shot I have 2 bullets in me right now. And I felt very comfortable. It was the next day I had to see Oscar because it happened to be on October 1st, and I had to report to parole and probation. So I went to Oscar's office. I felt very comfortable being with Oscar in Oscar's office. I wasn't, at that particular time, it was a day old after the shooting, and I wouldn't just walk anywhere or go anywhere. So I feel a lot of confidence to be with that person, of course. I felt very comfortable being there with him. And that's actually the first place I headed to after I got out of the hospital.
When we look at those so-called criminals, we say they don't deserve a break. You know, this, lock them up, throw away the key kind of thing. But in reality, the courtroom works differently. And people like Oscar are the people who make that work. They get stained by it. I mean, when you represent enough mob guys and enough killers and heroin dealers and things like that, it's going to rub off at some point.
I had a client come up and he asked me a question, and innocently I gave him an answer. The question was, does the case look bad? And I said, it looks horrible. And he says, well, what happens if so-and-so doesn't appear as a witness? I said, then they have no case. And then 2 weeks later, they found the witness in the desert.
Niggas couldn't see me if they could. I belong in prison next to Suge. As far as Baltimore, I am the blueprint. I can get you touched, but I ain't move shit. In the hood with all my jewelry, I ain't lose shit. If I get the trippin', it's a news clip. If you hear I got that word, find you a new strip. Make that shit go easy for the both of us. Don't make me whisper in your ear and let you know something. It's summertime, but I predict that snow coming. Retaliation like the busters wait around us coming. And since you always full of shit, I aim around the stomach. Don't hang around, I'm dumping. Call EMT to pump 'em. Like lazy boy, I slump 'em. We always up to something. My paper up, I'm stunting. My favorite word is fuck 'em. Like safety first, I buck 'em. He told me not to trust him. Call me the maid, I dust him. New Cadillac, I clutch him. Y'all think I'm back, I'm bluffing. Bro, this ain't rap, I'm hustling. I wrote this for my cousin, always buzzing. Give him something. I did it, boy, but hey. So here's a freestyle before I board the plane. To describe me, best in words, insane. You heard my name? Billy Sample in my voice still, hey. Who the ones them hoes moist for, hey. Y'all this dude with the dope boys say. I'm still good, I might not ever go away. Create the tax y'all forever gon' pay. He dropped his flag, this shit he never gon' say. He popped the tag, I want him butterfly today. By morning, I want him morning black dresses. Lincoln stretches, Deacon Reverend's choir singing. Sweetest gestures, supplying pressure, send a message. I'm with the extra, I'm a mixture of Monster Cody, shoot like Ginobili, Crody. This winter time fitting to be one of the coldest. The realest one alive, nigga, and you know this. And you know this. And you know this. And you know this. Hey, I can make the streets hot. Funny thing, I am the coldest. A young nigga in this game. To the old nigga's shoulders.